They must send me like I can't cancel them. Let me see. Send two C. Also, they see GTP. Well.
There will be a courtesy call on the President of the Senate today after this sitting by Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues are cordially invited. Room 301. Mayor's Consultancy Services, in collaboration with the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, will also pay a courtesy call on the President of the Senate for this Wednesday, February 14th at 2:30 p.m. The Senate President's Meeting Room 301. Senators are cordially invited. Any petition? Abbas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, a petition from Barristers Associates of Mr. Chebia Denham for illegal dismissal from work. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, what makes this petition interesting is that the MD of NALDA wanted to remove 5 tractors and generator from Adamawa State. And I was informed to intervene. And when I intervened, I and the chairman of the committee that oversee him agreed to allow the tractors to be moved to Abuja. But for informing us, he went ahead and dismissed the officer that informed us that why would he inform his senators from my own state. I think it's becoming unbecoming for somebody to be dismissed because he informed his own senator. That's why it's very interesting. Mr. President, if you hold no objection, I may wish to lay the petition on the table.
Any legal impediment?
No, not at all.
Proceed.
Thank you.
The committees, the petition is referred to the Committee of Code of Conduct, Public Petition and Ethics to report back to the Senate in 1 week. Yes. Neither.
If you permit me, Mr. President, my learned colleagues, there are some petitions that were routed directly to your office, Mr. President, and we need to properly lay them here so that it can be captured in our votes and proceedings. If you permit me, Mr. President, I will proceed to read them.
Let's have the summary of the petition.
Okay. Presentation of petitions not laid but sent to the Committee on Ethics from the Office of His Excellency, the President of the Senate. The Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions, pursuant to Order 40, Rule 1 and 2 Standing Orders of the Senate 2023 as amended, wish to present to the Senate some petitions from the general public that are yet to be laid on the floor of the chamber. The petitions were routed by the petitioners to the Office of His Excellency, the President of the Senate, and therefore needs to be officially placed on the public domain through the hallowed chamber of the Senate and to be captured in the votes and proceedings. Petition 1. Petitioner A.O. Ojekudu and Company on behalf of Soldiers Limited. The respondents, the Nigerian Navy. Subject matter is illegal/unlawful seizure of vessel on batched conspiracy and stealing. Second petition, petitioner NDOJ and Company on behalf of Ota, Nelson, and Chukwuemeka. The respondents, the Nigerian Law School. Request for the reversal of the increment in school fees of the Nigerian Law School. The third petition, Ogbonam Paul Arochukwu on behalf of Mr. Wisdom Chimankpa Igwe. The respondent, Obima Security Planning and Advisory Committee. The complaint of national interest, to which security breaches, threat to life and property, acts of terrorism, violence and conducts capable of causing breach of public peace and disrupting oil exploration in Ubima community, Ikure local government area of Rivers State. The fourth and final petition, Your Excellency, Empowerment for Unemployment Youth Initiative. That's the petitioners. And the respondents, Binance Cryptocurrency Exchange. And their petition speaks to violations of the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and risk to consumer protection and investor safety in Nigeria. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to the best of my knowledge, none of these issues contained in the above-mentioned petitions is pending in any court of competent jurisdiction. I therefore seek the leave of the Senate to formally lay the petitions for further legislative actions.
Proceed. The committees are already with you, and therefore we'll just direct that you treat them expeditiously and report to the Senate within 3 weeks. Huh? Distinguished colleagues, correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, President of the Senate, Senate Chambers, National Assembly Complex, I'm reading what is here. Thank you. In all of the correspondences from Mr. President, that is what has been used. And I accept your congratulations. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, President of the Senate, Senate Chambers, National Assembly Complex, 3 Arms Zone, Abuja. Constitution of the Monetary Policy Committee for the Central Bank of Nigeria. In accordance with the provisions of Section 12 of the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Act 2007, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointments of the underlisted 12 persons as chairman and members of Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria. First name, Olayemi Kadoso, CBN Governor, Chairman. Muhammad Sani Abdullahi, CBN Deputy Governor, Member. Bala M. Bello, CBN Deputy Governor, Member. MM Usoro, CBN Deputy Governor, Member. Philip Ikazo, CBN Deputy Governor, Member. Lamido Yuguda, DG Securities and Exchange Commission, Member. Jafia Lydia Shehu, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Member. Moritala Sabo Sagagi, CBN Director, Member. Aloysius Uche Odu, Member. Aku Pauline Odinkemelu, Member. Mustafa Akiumi, Member. Bamidele A.G. Amo, Member. While hoping that the request to receive the expeditious constitution of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is rightly referred to the Committee on Finance, Banking, and other financial institutions matters to report back to the Senate within 1 week. Correspondence from Mr. President. Addressed to the distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON. Senate President, National Assembly Complex. I'm looking at Senator Tamboa. You are very happy with the development. It has always been so. So I congratulate all of you for the recognition by Mr. President. Confirmation of appointment of Director General, National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA. In accordance with the provisions of Section 40, subsection 1 of the National Health Insurance Authority Act 2022, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Dr. Kelechi Ohiri as Director General, National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA. Whilst hoping that this request will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished Senators, the assurances of my best regards. This is signed by yours sincerely, signed Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This request for confirmation is referred to the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary Institutions to revert to the Senate within 1 week. Yes. Another correspondence from Mr. President. Another correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, Senate President, National Assembly Complex, 3 Arms Zone, Abuja. Confirmation of appointment of Commissioner, National Population Commission. In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, Subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Honorable Yomi Fashua as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, representing Ogun State. The Senate is invited to note that Honorable Yomi Fashua is to replace Honorable Kunle Shobugunla Shobukela, who was earlier confirmed by the Senate, but is to vacate the position in order to take up his seat in the Ogun State House of Assembly, further to an order of the Court of Appeal, declaring him as the winner of the 18th March 2023 State Assembly election in Ikenne State constituency. Whilst hoping that the Senate will consider and confirm the appointment of Right Honorable Yomi Fashua as Commissioner of the MPC, please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished Senators, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on National Population to revert to us as soon as practicable, but within 1 week. Distinguished colleagues, the Permanent Secretary, National Assembly on Health has requested me to announce to all distinguished colleagues that there is an ongoing eye screening, sugar tests, and diabetic screening at room 231 Senate building immediately after this session. I stress it. Senator Buhari, they are requested, together with Senator Shabi Alaji and other distinguished senators, to go to room 231 immediately after this sitting to undertake eye screening, sugar test screening, and diabetic screening immediately after this. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first order of the day is the presentation of a House bill. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the first business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2024 HB 172. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, HB 172, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2024, HB 172, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Banigo Ipalibo Harry on the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control NAFDAC Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 326. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control NAFDAC Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 326, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 326, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Musa Muhammad Sani on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 341. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 341, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 341, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Saliu Mustafa on the Integrated Rural Development Agency Establishment Bill 2024, SB 342. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators,
Integrated Rural Development Agency Establishment Bill 2024, SB 342, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Integrated Rural Development Agency Establishment Bill 2024, SB 342, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Adebule Idiat Oluranti on the Proceeds of Crime Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024 SB 343. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Proceeds of Crime Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, SB 343, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Proceeds of Crime Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, SB 343, first reading taken.
Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the matter for discussion is definitely very urgent. It has to do with the disaster that the country experienced in the United States of America with the death of illustrious children of Nigeria sometime about 4 or 5 days ago. And we felt that there was need for us to discuss it in the Senate. When Senator Orwell approached me, I thought he will follow our rules. But since he has not, and there is provision within Order 38 that the Senate can, on its own, otherwise direct those who are in support of the motion that will waive the normal rules of proceedings and direct that he proceeds to go ahead to present the matter of urgent national importance. Can you say aye? Those again say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Orwell, please go on.
Thank you very much. I'm very deeply grateful. I remain Senator Orwell Onyeso. I represent Rivers East. The President of the Senate has already told you it's about the death of a very illustrious son of Nigeria who...
Use your campaign voice, please.
No, this is okay. It's on. The mic is on. The demise of late Herbert Onyewumbo Nwigwe in the recent tragic helicopter crash in California, USA. The Senate is invited to note the deep sense of grief, the demise of Chief Herbert Onyewumbo Nwigwe, who was the Managing Director / Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank PLC until his untimely demise in a tragic helicopter crash that claimed his life, as well as that of his wife, son, and a friend of his, Mr. Abimbola Ogunbanjo, on Friday, the 9th day of February 2024 at California-Nevada border in the USA. The Senate is further invited to note that the late Chief Herbert was born on the 15th August 1966 in Oyo State to the family of Pastor Shingo Nwigwe of Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, Nigeria. He had his primary and secondary education in Ibadan and then went on to Federal Government College, Sokoto, and later attended Federal Government College, Warri, Delta State, where he finished his secondary education in 1982 and had a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Nsukka, of Nigeria, Nsukka in 1987. The Senate is also invited to note that Chief Nwigwe's journey to prominence continued with a master's degree in banking and international finance from the University College, North Wales, and another master's degree in financial economics from the University of London. The Senate is aware that the Chief Nwigwe subsequently advanced his professional voyage with Coopers and Lebrand Associates, honing his skills in the realm of chartered accountancy. His career trajectory saw him spend over a decade in Guaranteed Trust Bank, PLC, where he assumed various leadership roles, including that of executive directorship. The Senate is further aware that in March 2002, Chief Nwigwe co-led the transformative journey of Access Bank PLC as its deputy managing director, ultimately ascending to the role of group managing director / chief executive officer in January 2014, a position he held until May 2022, steering Access Bank into becoming one of Nigeria's top 5 banking institutions. The Senate notes that Chief Nwigwe led Access Holdings through several mergers and acquisitions inside and outside Nigeria, including acquisitions of banks in Kenya, Ghana, Mozambique, South Africa, Zambia, Botswana, and Angola, to mention but a few. The Senate recalls that among the deals in the pipeline before his demise were the takeover of Uganda's Finance Trust Bank Limited and Standard Chartered banking businesses in Cameroon, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Tanzania. The Senate resolved to observe one, observe a minute silence in honor of our departed banking industry, Mongo. 2, send a high-powered delegation of the Senate to his burial with a letter of condolence to commiserate with the family, the people, and the government of Rivers State. 3, urge the Senate to call on the United States of America and its relevant agencies in conjunction with our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau under the Ministry of Aviation to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the immediate and remote causes of this unfortunate tragedy and publicly disclose the findings. I so move.
Mrs. Banigo.
Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Dr. Banigo, representing Rivers Senatorial West. I stand to support wholeheartedly this motion that has been submitted by my colleague, Senator Orwell Onyesu. I so submit. Thank you.
Senator Tamboa.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Amin Waziri Tamboal, representing Sokoto South Senatorial District of Sokoto State. Mr. President, I rise to support this motion ably moved by my respected colleague, Senator Orwell, on the demise of our brother, our friend, and indeed a great Nigerian, a pan-Nigerian, our brother Herbert Wige. Mr. President, I know Mr. Herbert personally, and we have had a very sound and strong relationship over the years. He was a pan-Nigerian. He served our financial institutions with the best that he has had, and he was indeed one of our best in that sector. Looking at his career progression, you know that Mr. Herbert contributed immensely in the evolution of the current modern financial systems that we have, particularly in our banking sector. Mr. President, from his brief resume, you have heard where he was born, in Oyo State, and he was in Sokoto Federal Government College. While I was serving as governor of Sokoto, he has been to Sokoto several times, and he has maintained his relationship with the people of Sokoto State, particularly those of them that they were in STEM school at the FGC Sokoto. Mr. President, on one of his visits, and this I could recall vividly, Mr. Herbert came to my private residence, and on that fateful day, my uncles came in from our village. When he interacted with them, he asked me, what can he do for them? I said, I will ask them. And they said, what they want from him is his support for themselves and their disciples to go on holy pilgrimage. And Herbert, a Christian, gave them 10 Hajj seats on the spot and paid for them to go on holy pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia. That was Herbert Wigwe for you. He had touched many lives. He contributed to the development of so many young ones, and he had raised so many young people. We have indeed lost a very, very important person in this country to the cold hands of death. It was untimely, and I believe that it will take a long time for us to develop another or many more Herbert Wigwe. We spoke last on the 1st of February. He called me, I saw his missed call. I called him back. He said, my brother, I have not heard from you for a long time. I just called to check up on you. And we had some conversations, and he even extended an invitation to me that we shall both go and see the Wigwe University that he was trying to establish. That these days, that university had preoccupied most of his times, but that he was extending an invitation to me so that one day we'll go there and inspect the university. That day is never to come. We pray that God Almighty shall forgive his sins and grant his parents and all of those who are his associates the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Wadada.
Very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I remain Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu, Sarkin Yakin Kefi, representing Nasarawa West Senatorial District. While I support this motion, I, alongside, say that the loss of Herbert Wigwe is a great loss to the entirety of Nigerian society. To the public, Herbert was only known as a banker. But Herbert was beyond a banker. Herbert was everywhere. Herbert was in everything that was going to add value to humanity. Herbert was a legend because Herbert traded in spheres that people were scared of. In the evolution of the financial sector, particularly the banking sector, like Senator Aminu Tambuwal said, Herbert attempted under Access at a point to acquire AfriBank. Senator Ichocho is here. But that attempt was characterized as hostile takeover of AfriBank by Access Bank, which did not work. But because Herbert was Herbert, he went on to venture into acquiring Intercontinental Bank when everybody was scared of going close to that transaction because of what the books had. Herbert ventured into it, acquired Intercontinental, and that, of course, added the needed and required value to Access Bank. Beyond that, Herbert took Access Bank across the sub-Saharan Africa and beyond into Asia. In fact, Herbert was about to close the biggest and largest transaction ever by any commercial bank in Nigeria to acquire 6 to 7% of Standard Chartered in Africa. So Herbert really did all he could to project the Nigerian banking sector to the globe, to say that no, we can do it. If anybody else can do it elsewhere, we can as well do it. And Herbert did it. Herbert, to those of us that only see, that recently have been seeing the advertisement on Wigwe University, I am sure quite a number of Nigerians are confining or limiting Herbert's contribution to education because of that university coming up. No, Herbert leveraged on polo in partnership with Fifth Choker in Kaduna to establish schools in Mararaban, Jos, where children of less privileged background are, being educated. And again, Harvard leveraged on polo to take care of breast cancer in collaboration with Fifth Choker Polo Resort in Kaduna. And beyond the Nigerian sphere, Harvard, in collaboration with Fifth Choker, took Nigerian polo to the Great Britain. Every May, June, July, there is always Access Bank Fifth Choker Polo Tournament in London. Harvard had done what he could, but the day Harvard and co left was their day. Nobody would have done anything else to spare them, because that was what destiny had for them. But indeed, Harvard is a great loss to Nigeria. I pray that the Lord rewards him for the life he lived, and for the family and parents, friends like us. I pray that the Lord gives us the fortitude to bear this great loss. Herbert, great guy.
Thank you for the insights. It couldn't have been better than that. So let me, I think after Senator Wadada, very few people want to speak. But let me give a chance to the Southeast so that they will not be marginalized. Distinguished Senator Annie. Senator Annie, yes.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the day the news filtered out the death of...
so your name is Senator...
I am Senator Anthony Annie, representing the good people of Ebonyi South. In support of the motion, let me say that the day the news filtered that Herbert Wigwe was no more, it was a serious grief to me as a person and others who knew him. He was a colossus of salt. It was a loss of 3 generations. Himself was gone, the wife and the son. Indeed, this is a grievous moment for all who had, in one way or the other, came in contact with Herbert Wigwe. He was a philanthropist to the core. He was so much involved in giving scholarship to indigent persons. He ensured that some indigent students had a reprieve by getting scholarship from him. He had made his mark throughout Nigeria and even beyond. My heart goes out to the family, and I hope that the same thing applies to those of us in this chamber, great chamber, that Herbert Wigwe touched so many lives. And this motion should be sustained. I equally want to say that in the course of time, he should be given national honors. I so move. Thank you.
Distinguished Deputy Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Barrow Jibrin Kadalot. Mr. President, I join others to condole the immediate family of late Herbert Wigwe, his state of Rivers, and indeed the entire country, for the loss of this, the illustrious son of Nigeria. A wonderful man. The first time I came, or I had contact with him, was in Kano, when the state government then, under Dr. Abdullah Umar Ganduji, launched an appeal fund for the development of schools or the education sector in Kano State then. He was the chief launcher. And he did very well by making a handsome donation of large sum of money for that cause. And since then, I've seen him as someone who was a philanthropist to the core, and a man who was able to get to the highest pinnacle of his banking career. Someone who was a renowned technocrat who helped to build the banking sector in this country. So his loss is a loss to the entire country, a loss to the banking sector of this country. And the only thing we can do now is I will pray that may God gives his family and his entire associates the fortitude to bear his demise. And also pray that may he rest in perfect peace. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Governor Otumba Benga Daniels, you know, it wasn't only Wiwe that died, there was also Ogubanjo.
Thank you very much, our chairman, distinguished colleagues. I'm Otumba Engineer Benga Daniel, representing Ogu East. I also want to join my colleagues, especially Senator Owelo Yeso, who has raised this motion in honor of our departed friend, a great banker, a philanthropist, an educationist, and somebody who we are all very, very proud. As we pray that God in his infinite mercy will grant him repose for his soul, I also want to draw the attention of my colleagues that apart from his wife and his son, we also lost in that ghastly accident a very distinguished Nigerian, Mr. Ogubanjo, Bimbola Ogubanjo. Mr. Ogubanjo has always been a major corporate player in our environment, a very successful indigene of our dear Senatorial district. You'll recall that about 2 months ago, we lost the senior Ogubanjo, Chief Priest Ogubanjo, who died at the ripe age of close to 100 years. Bimbola Ogubanjo is a junior brother of a distinguished senator here, Senator Tokunbo Ogubanjo, who was here between 2003 and 2007 as a senator of the Federal Republic. As we mourn his friend, Herbert Wigwe, we also pray that God, in his infinite mercies, will grant repose to the soul of Mr. Bimbola Ogubanjo. Thank you very much.
This is Senator Abiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East. I also join my colleagues in all of the commiseration they've extended on the demise of Herbert Wigwe. I also must admit that I had a personal and professional relationship with Herbert Wigwe. We all grew up in the early 90s in the then Guaranteed Trust Bank, where, at different times, I spent about 10 years, and also, I think he probably will have spent about 12 years there before they went and formed what we know today as Access Bank. And I must admit that from both personal and professional standpoint, Herbert was a brilliant, brilliant gentleman. He was a professional to the core, and he was perhaps one of our best and the brightest in banking. In terms of accomplishments, I'm sure we all can speak and we can see there are evidences of all of his accomplishments. He was a major pillar and a co-founder of Access Bank. He's taking his other co-partner, despite the major accomplishment he had. By the time he handed over to Herbert also took Access Bank beyond the shores of Nigeria in terms of expansion. He was a bold guy. He was a courageous guy. I can attest to that. And of course, his accomplishments within the short period, I wouldn't even call it a short period of his life, both in terms of the banking industry and also in terms of public service, are very evident. So as we commiserate with the family, I also extend my commiseration to the family of the Ogunbanjos as well, because we also lost another illustrious son of Nigeria, that's Abimbola Ogunbanjo. So I join my colleagues in commiserating with the families of the Wigways for the loss of Herbert, his wife, and his son. And we pray, and all that we can do in their remembrance is to continue to follow in the pursuit of brilliance that they exhibited in their lifetime. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, the President of Senate, and my distinguished colleagues.
Let me join the distinguished senators to thank Senator Orwell Onyeso for bringing this all-important matter of urgent national importance. I don't know, this one, whether I should say not just national, African importance, because the personality we have just discussed in the person of Herbert Wigwe was a pan-Africanist, a young man who co-founded Access Bank of Nigeria, and when he had the opportunity to be its managing director, he took it beyond the shores of West Africa, venturing into Kenya, venturing into so many countries, and even in the, going as far as other countries of the world. And outside that, the most tragic part of it is that it's not only him that departed. He departed alongside his dear wife, his helper for many years, and also his son, a major successor that could have continued from where he stopped. And then we also have our other illustrious son, Ogunbanjo, who also departed along with him. It's true that the country mourns, Africa mourns, the black race mourns, and we cannot indeed question the Almighty God for some of these things that happen. But I know that the lives he touched, the children he paid school fees for, the people he gave seats for pilgrimages, both Christian and Muslim pilgrimages, the people he employed and put food on their tables, the university he built for people to have education, and generally, his conduct during life will never be forgotten. And for those of Tambuwa and others who went to school with him in Federal Government College Sokoto, and then even those of us from other federal government colleges, like I went to Federal Government College Port Harcourt, we mourn the loss of a great Nigerian because we are thought to be Nigerians and not to be detribalized. And that is the way we were brought up when we were young, from the age of 9. And that is how we are. And how I wish that kind of education had continued. By today, the educated class in Nigeria would not know anything about tribalism. So I want to join you to say that may their souls rest in peace. And we cannot question God, but may God grant the families of the departed the fortitude to bear this great loss. Gentlemen, let us rise, observe a minute silence for all of them. May the souls of our departed brothers and sisters, Herbert Mwiwe, his dear wife, his son, and Mr. Gobanjo, in the helicopter crash in California, rest in perfect peace. Amen. Distinguished colleagues, the second prayer is for us to send a high-powered delegation of the Senate to his burial whenever it is taking place, with the necessary letter of condolence to commiserate with the family and the good people of Riverside. Those in support of this prayer say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. The last prayer is for us to urge the Senate. The Senate should urge the United States of America through its embassy and other relevant agencies, including our Foreign Affairs and the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau under the Ministry of Aviation, to jointly meet with the United States counterparts to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the immediate and remote causes of this unfortunate tragedy, and to disclose the findings publicly for the consumption of other Nigerians. Those who are in support of this last prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you so much for your contributions, and thank you, my dear brother, Yusuf, for bringing this to the fore. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Mr. President, let me say that some of the elders and stakeholders of the Senate feel that there is a need for further consultation on some of the bills that we have on the other paper today in overriding public interest. In view of that, Mr. President, I would like to move that we step down orders 1, 2, and 3 on the other paper for today, and proceed to presentation and consideration of reports. I so move, Mr. President.
Yeah, I think it's not comprehensive enough. So, you know, the Senate sat till 11 p.m. yesterday, and so a lot of committees could not perform their jobs. So I think the motion may be amended by the minority leader while seconding to include the stepping down of presentations of reports, so that we can just take the motions. So minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I start to second the motion moved by the Senate leader and amended by the Senate President himself, that in view of our very extended meeting yesterday and to allow more time for committee work to take place, we stand down other matters from the other people and go to motions as 2 seconds.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved by the leader that we step down the item 1 order of the day, consideration of bills 1, 2 of the day up to 3, and the presentation of and consideration of reports 1 and 2 in order to attend to motions and conclude expeditiously to enable us to attend to committee sittings that were missed yesterday. Those who are in support of stepping down this item, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, may I invite Senator, let me invite Senator Mbigi on behalf of Senator Etim Basi Anyekan, on behalf of Senator Dixon, on behalf of Senator Kobowe Benson, on behalf of Senator Jonah Williams Eteng, on behalf of Senator Jaribe Agrom, on behalf of the distinguished Senator Shumole, on behalf of Senator Imasuen Neda Bernard, on behalf of Senator Titus Zam, and on behalf of Senator Osita Ngo, to move the next motion. Senator Mbigi, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President of the 10th Senate.
We are supposed to do when you react, you should come down because you shouldn't have to be there. You should have put this you cannot say you're supposed to somebody when you are there. It's not like you come down, you come down and then you go back. And when you finish, you go back. When you finish with the motion, then you go back. Not when you finish. After an hour, you have a slot. No. It's not You cannot direct. He can't. How can't? The root can check out. Can't. If he had waited for that time, you should have put his name. You should have put his name. Be the sponsor of the motion, and then you can be a member. They can be a co-sponsor. You can't direct again. You will have made it right. No. You will have made it wrong. No. See, this is how you will have made it wrong. Exposed.
Can somebody die? Is he in your state?
From his own.
He's supposed to come and do it himself, but now I'll do it on his behalf. I'll do it.
Yes, so the two bills we agreed on for tomorrow, yes, your bill and his NY.
Yes. He spoke about
Even if you are sacking I stand. That's what leader, DSP. I'm meeting you now.
Hey! It's not reporting progress. I'm telling you. So, that state that was brought,
that was.
We have to look at it very well.
What's that?
The request by Mr. President. Which one? Because of Mr. President?
Yes. No, not because of now they're bringing them now. So what do we do?
Where is the list of those committees?
Which committee?
MPC. Was that what we just? No, we'll refer it to you. We'll refer it to you. Can't screen more than that. We have all manner of people at deputy governor. That's what it's about. To have a strong MPC.
Yes, the mass screen was about the call.
Yes, I even want the list. I want the list so it's much a background. Well, those are automatic members. They're automatic. Yes. There are only one. We need to extend that.
Economic advisor. Election. Yes, now. UK. These are guys who never supported us, they never believed in our cause. Put up questions for
let's go and get the list. Mr. President.
Next one fixes.
You see, this is, sir.
You're not even showing love today. No red, nothing. I thought you were my guy, man. What's going on?
No, I just chose to be different.
Oh. That's not a good posture. That's not a good posture.
No, but
even as a
yeah.
So now, and this guy, NNPC hasn't responded to any of our letters.
It's the same problem that we have in CBN as well.
I went on my knees. I was behind it. Unfortunately.
Behind what?
Mele is coming back. I'm fully. Gilbert made me to cut short my trip in London to come back to Nigeria because Mele was going to meet Oba.
Leader is back. I can go now.
So, sir,
Leader is back.
I have set him on, starting from this 3 billion. 8.5 billion, we wrote them since January.
Yes. No, it's done.
Petroleum tax, revenue that they diverted.
Yes, thank you, Daddy. Yeah, yes, Daddy. One of the leaders who are to come allow all the decisions on country to apologize to the citizens of this country. So you have to just name your mom. So you have to I'm not trying to post over what to do. What?
Yes, Deputy Senate President.
We are live. We are
No,
live.
no, no, since 1 p.m.
No. Sir, we are live. I'm telling you, we are live. 2 o'clock.
Bọ́mọ yóò lè máa ṣe báyìí. Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí mo ṣe ò jù yẹn lọ, mi ò dẹ̀ ní any regret.
Mo sì regret. Èmi gan bínú sí. Òun náà dẹ̀ ti rí mi. Ó ti rí pé mo ti change ojú.
Àgbọ̀ owó àìmọ̀ kò lówó. Àtúndé àwọn opportunity tí wọ́n abẹ́ fún àtúrà ìpè
Ó
jáde.
lè fẹ́ kí gbogbo tá a
Yes,
bá rí.
come on, what's
I came to
up
stand for you.
I wish you can do it. I will even give it to you.
No, please. I can go now.
Okay, sir. Hey, Chairman. My leader. How are you?
The Deputy Senate President.
What is actual damage? Okay, the second, the motion. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the seventh order of the day is a motion standing in the name of His Excellency Distinguished Senator Akpabio Godswill Obot, the President of the Senate, and 18 other distinguished senators on the demise of distinguished Senator Itak Bob Ekarika. Mr. President, having been reliably informed that His Excellency Distinguished Senator Barao Jibril, the Deputy President of the Senate, will be taking this motion on behalf and in the name of the main sponsor. I therefore invite Mr. President to kindly invite His Excellency Distinguished Senator Barao Jibril to move the motion on behalf of the President of the Senate, Senator Akpabio Godswill Obot.
Thank you, Leader of the Senate. The motion is co-sponsored by Senator Mbigi and about 18 others. And the Deputy Senate President approached me and said, for a motion that is brought before the Senate by the Senate President, he should have also been a co-sponsor. So I want, on top of okay, see, including Senator Olami Lekon, including Senator Asahabi Alaji. So including Senator Shehu Buba Omar, so includes my brother from the South. So I thank you for also joining. So, DSP sir, please move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Barao Jibrin, Lord. My distinguished colleagues, I have the honor and privilege to stand on behalf of the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, to present this motion before this august Senate. This motion is on the demise of Senator Itak Bob Ekarika. I therefore, with the permission of Mr. President of the Senate, read the motion as follows. Of course, the motion is co-sponsored by several senators that are mentioned on the body of the motion, and indeed others whose name are not here on the body of the motion, including Senator Solomon Adiola Olami Lekon and Senator Mukaelu Abiru and Senator Sani Musa and Senator Abdullahi Nengi and Senator Ademo Alero. All are co-sponsors, but their names are not here. And I appeal, and Senator Sabiawu of Zamfara State. The motion goes as follows: that the Senate knows with heavy heart the transition of Senator Itak Bob Ekarika, which took place on the 10th day of October 2003 after a brief illness at the ripe age of 89. Notes that Senator Bob Ekarika comes from a district that has produced eminent gentlemen and citizens of this country. Among them, we have the current President of the Senate, who was the former governor of that state, or the state of Akwa Ibom, Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON. Knows also that late Senator Bob Ekarika graduated from the prestigious University of Ibadan and later pursued a highly successful career in marketing at the Shell Group, where he rose to the enviable height of Deputy Managing Director and retired in 1985. Recalls that upon his retirement, he established IBEL Nigeria Limited, a company that was an importer of lubricants, and thereafter appointed the chairman of the Cooperative Development Bank PLC, a company founded by both Akwa Ibom and Cross River State governments. Recalls also that it was then he successfully ventured into politics in the year 2000 and was appointed to the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Observes that Senator Bob Ekarika later contested for and won the coveted seat of Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District, where he diligently served his people between 2003 and 2007. Observes also that during his tenure, he courageously championed the cause of his constituents, including, but not limited to, the electrification of Ekparakwa clan in Orok, Anab local government area, the construction of Ibagwa Bridge, as well as the building of a Navy school in Ikot, Entwen, Ekparakwa. Aware that the Senate has already sent the high power delegation to pay a condolence visit to the late senator's family, which was led by His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON, during which a condolence letter was presented. Accordingly, knows to 1, observe 1 minute silence in honor of late Senator Itak Bob Ekarika, and 2, urge the federal government immortalize him by naming the Navy School in Ikot Etwen, Ekparakwa, the Senator Bob Itak Ekarika Naval School. Mr. President, I submit.
Distinguished Senator Mbiki, but on your seats.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Mpigi Barinada. I represent the good people of the River Southeast Senatorial District. Mr. President, I stand here to second the motion ably moved by the Deputy Senate President
of the 10th Senate on behalf of the President of the 10th Senate. Mr. President, the motion has been sponsored by you, and the man that we're talking about, and I visited the distinguished senator that is demised that was passed on with you. Mr. President, I can say that the number of senators from the South that co-signed this motion can prove to the distinguished colleagues here that distinguished Senator Ikarika happened to have been a worthy son of the South. A senator that sits and after which our uncommon president of the Senate is representing, taking over the seat now, we should know that that person definitely is a worthy son of the area. Mr. President, I want to formally second this motion by saying that whatever prayers that was put in this motion, that the Senate should do justice to it accordingly, because the character, with the view, the way we met the family that day, is a worthy son of that senatorial district. He was a worthy senator that represented his people. Mr. President, I so second.
This is Senator Ekong Samson.
Thank you, Mr. President. My dear colleagues, I want to lend my voice to the strong current of opinion that has been canvassed over Senator Itak Bob Ekarika. I was privileged to have known him. He was a bridge builder. My village is close to his. He was one man who loved his community. It is fitting that our Senate President led a strong team from the Senate to condole with his family. Here is one man who built firm bridges of unity. He was a banker. He set the tone for the strength of Cooperative Development Bank, as we knew the bank to be in those days, and the bank was doing very, very well. He was a gentleman, as gentle as the Senate President himself. He was one with, quietly, with a great sense of humor, just like the Senate President himself. So, I can attest that Senator Itak Bob Ekarika was well loved by his people. He came from an area that stands out, an area that produced great Nigerians. I know that many of our colleagues must have read Say You Are One of Them, a book that is well read even outside this country, that written by Uwe from that same community. He was one gentleman who worked very hard to develop his community. He was someone who paid attention to great detail. I recall that sometimes when I drove home, I would stop by and drank deep from his fountain of wisdom. We recall that the sun has set on the life of a great Nigerian who, like we were, that we just talked about, was educated in Nigeria. I mean, today we are paying tribute to two Nigerians who studied here in Nigeria and did well. So much has been said about Herbert, who studied in the University of Ibadan. Itak studied in the great Nsukka, UNN. And to me, their distinction is eloquent testimony that the best can come from Nigeria. Nothing can be too much to be said about Senator Itak Bob Ekarika. He did well as a senator, very articulate, deep in his reasoning. He had vast perspectives in thought and argument. So I stand on behalf of
my people of Akwa Ibom South to pay tribute to this great Nigerian. Sam joins the people of Akwa Ibom South to pay tribute to a great Nigerian who worked with others in Akwa Ibom State to lift my state to where it is today. When we tell the story of Akwa Ibom State, we will also tell the story of Senator Itzhak Bob Ekarika, a consummate gentleman, a patriot, a bridge builder, a lover of his community. Thank you for this opportunity. May your soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Aneka Basi, former Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly.
My name is Senator Aneka Basi, speaking for and on behalf of Akwa Ibom Northeast. Your Excellency, the Senate President, thank you for this opportunity to lend credence and my voice to this all-important motion on the demise of a great leader of our state, Senator Itzhak Bob Ekarika. I share in the sentiment expressed in this motion as presented by the Deputy Senate President on your behalf. I see it as a great honor for the people of Akwa Ibom North-West and by extension, Akwa Ibom State. Itzhak Bob Ekarika, as elucidated by you in this motion, was the great son of Akwa Ibom North-West and by extension Akwa Ibom State. It will greatly be missed. I had cause and reason to interact with him about 25 years ago when I was a young businessman of 20 years old. He encouraged me as the chairman of the then cooperative bank by facilitating a contract, which gave me the courage, which gave me the boldness to forge ahead as a young businessman. Itzhak Bob Ekarika was not just a gentleman, but a consummate politician and businessman. It will be greatly missed by the people of Akwa Ibom North-West and by extension of Akwa Ibom people. So I found this, the motion raised by the move by Senate President as very, very timely and very, very expedient. We in Akwa Ibom North-West, Northeast, will greatly miss this great Akwa Ibom son. And we pray that the family will have the grace and the courage to bear this irreparable loss. And just to add to the prayers of the motion, the Navy College is situated in his own village. So it will not be out of place for that particular school and college to be named after him. So support the entirety of this motion. I support the prayer number 1 and prayer number 2. And I thank this August Senate for the support and solidarity that they have accorded this great son of Akwa Ibom State and the Senate President of this chamber. Thank you very much and God bless.
Let me thank the Deputy Senate President, my dear brother, distinguished Senator Jibrin Barrow, for moving the motion on behalf of the good people of Akwa Ibom North-West Senatorial District. Yes, it is true that the Senator Itzhak Ekarika was a great politician, but before then he worked with National Oil and rose to the position of Deputy Managing Director. He was also an investor in the banking industry. At the time, I think he was chairman of the cooperative bank, like distinguished Senator Aneka Basi has said, and he helped to raise a lot of young people. And I'm happy to hear that he gave you your first loan to enable you venture into business. And today you are a successful businessman and a politician. I think the same applies to a lot of other young people in that senatorial district. I led a delegation of the Senate with many senators, including Senator Mbigi and Senator Jaribe, so many of them, Senator Mustafa Sadiu, and so many others, to the family to pay the respect of the 10th Senate to a colleague who will be interred on the 17th of this month. His burial is on the 17th day of this month. So I thank the Senate for the sentiments expressed. I thank the entire Senate for supporting this very motion. And I want to join you to wish his soul to rest in perfect peace, and for the family to find fortitude through the grace of Almighty God. So, prayer 1, observe 1 minute silence in honor of late Senator Itabo Ekarika. Those who are in support of prayer 1 say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge the federal government to immortalize him by renaming the Navy school located in his community to Senator Itabo Ekarika Naval College. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it. The other prayer would have been a major delegation, but that has already taken place. Can we rise for 1 minute silence? May the soul of late Senator Isaac Bob Ekarika, who served this nation through this Senate between 2003 and 2007, rest in perfect peace. Amen. Yes, lead out the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the 8th order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Izu Naso Osita on the need to investigate the foreign exchange backlog accumulation, the recent activities in the foreign exchange market, as well as some of the development finance programs of the Central Bank of Nigeria from 2015 to date. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Izunaso Osita to move the motion.
Distinguished Senator Izunaso.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. Mr. President, the motion is on the need to investigate the foreign exchange backlog accumulation, the recent activities of foreign exchange market, as well as some of the development finance program of the CBN from 2015 to date. The Senate is aware that the unification of exchange rate by the present administration in June 2023 was a major economic reform aimed at endangering transparency in the forex market, including through eliminating opportunities for round-tripping. It equally enthrones market forces in the determination of exchange rate for the Naira in Nigerian forex exchange market. The Senate is also aware that the reforms above, which are laudable and commendable, has thrown up a major challenge of illiquidity occasioned by the fact that the CBN
which is the major supplier of forex in the market, has inadequate free foreign reserve for intervention, as most of the country's external reserves are encumbered in derivative contracts entered into by the CBN. Mindful that the execution of the foreign contract in Nigeria foreign exchange market is done through authorized dealing banks, while the market infrastructure and trading platform is provided by the FMDQ, group licensed by the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, but largely owned by the authorized dealing banks, who collectively are majority shareholders, while the CBN is a minority shareholder. Alarmed and concerned about some curious development in the NAFEM, where the CBN, via a circular dated January 31st, 2024, confirmed that the banks had accumulated substantial holdings of foreign currency for their own account and directed that such holdings be unwound by February 1st, 2024. Shocked that on February 5th, Nigerian Tribune, a national newspaper, had in a report titled 8 Banks Holding Over $6 billion, NOP Amidst FS Scarcity, published a list of banks and their net open positions, namely First Bank of Nigerian Holdings, $1.7 billion, Zenith Bank, $1.5 billion, GTCO, $1.47 billion, UBA, $796 million, FCMB, $495 million, Access Corporation, $308 million, Fidelity Bank, $101 million, and others. These figures, the newspaper claimed, were obtained from the bank's book, as well as analysis by the Cardinal Stone Securities Limited, a non-bank security trading firm in Nigeria. Mr. President, disturbed that the curiosity just few days preceding the directive to the banks to unwind their FS holdings, the FMDQ had abruptly instituted a change effective January 29, 2024, in its methodology for computing the NAFEM rate, which resulted in a drastic upward movement in NAFEM rate from 890 per dollar, naira per dollar, on January 26, 2024, to 1,413 naira per dollar in February 1st, 2024. Mindful that in recent widely publicized interview on Arise Television, the governor of CBN, Mr. Cardoso, has stated that $2.4 billion out of the $7 billion foreign exchange backlog owed to banks, aviation, and other entities were not valid, and that the CBN had only cleared $2.4 billion out of the valid $4.6 billion FS backlog, leaving about $2.2 billion outstanding. Mindful that prior to this disclosure by the CBN, the bank, through its acting director of communications, had announced the engagement of a reputable firm for an independent forensic review, which reveals some gross abuse and significant non-compliance with market regulations, with about $2.4 billion being flagged for infraction, such as invalid import documents, non-existent entities, beneficiaries and account parties receiving more FS than requested, and instances where entities that did not request any FS received funds. Worried that this disclosure by the CBN governor equally raised a number of questions as to which financial institutions were involved in processing the invalid FS obligations, totaling $2.4 billion among others. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, the Senate is also aware that between 2015 to 2022, the CBN had rolled out and implemented several interventions in critical sectors of the economy. Aware also that the bank's involvement in developing financing were targeted at priority sectors of the economy that had the potential to transform the productive base of the economy.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to move for extension of time to enable this Allo Chamber conclude on this lengthy motion and the debates therefrom, so that we can see beyond 2 p.m. I so move, Mr. President, subject to order.
Minority Leader.
Okay, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this Senate extends the time beyond 2 o'clock to enable it conclude this motion and other items on the order paper. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished Senator Isunaso, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll continue from where I stopped. That the Senate is also aware that the bank's involvement in development financing were targeted at priority sectors of the economy that had the potential to transform the productive base of the economy to facilitate growth, stimulate sustainable jobs, expand non-oil export basket to enhance the foreign exchange earning capability of the economy and facilitate financial inclusion. Note that the notable among these intervention schemes is the Anchor Borrower Program, APB, which the current management of the CBN plans to discontinue, owing to the current weak state of the CBN balance sheet. Its disposition to focus on taming inflation and caused largely by liquidity surface resulting from the raft of intervention, as well as the distortionary effect the subsidized interest rate at single digit has on the financial market. Conscious that Section 88 of 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, empowers the Senate to direct or cause to be directed an investigation into matters which respect to which it has powers to make law, and the powers conferred on the National Assembly as exercisable for the purpose of enabling it to expose corruption, inefficiency, or waste in the execution of administration of laws within its legislative competence and in the disbursement of administration funds appropriated by it. Concerned about the urgent need to investigate the propriety or otherwise of the recent development in the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM, the accumulation of forest backlog, and the development financing program of the CBN between 2015 to date in order to cleanse the financial services sector, foster trust among market participants, and bolster confidence among internal and external stakeholders. The Senate is accordingly asked to resolve as follows: to mandate the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions to conduct a holistic investigation into, 1, the propriety or otherwise of the recent developments in Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEN. 2, circumstances and the issues involved in the foreign exchange backlog, particularly the invalid 2.4 billion transfer as mentioned by the CBN governor. 3, development financing programs of the CBN of Nigeria, particularly the Anchor Borrowers Program, and report back to the Senate within 4 weeks. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Babangida.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the motion as ably and beautifully presented by Senator Isunaso on the myriad of issues that are affecting the operations of the CBN in general, and particularly the foreign exchange component of its activities. Permit me, Mr. President, to also chip in a word here regarding the issues as canvassed and the prayers as presented by the presenter of the motion. The truth is, we have for a long time allowed CBN to operate as a government on its own. There is really no transparency in its operation. There is seeming lack of synergy between the financial institutions that the CBN is supposed to oversight and to control. And that is the price we are paying today. So, Mr. President, I wholly support this motion, and I pray that the Senate will do the needful in adopting the prayers as presented in the motion. Thank you. I remain Senator Babangida Hussein, Jigawa Northwest.
Distinguished Senator Ume.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent the people of Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support this very, very important motion brought by our brother, Senator Osti Zunaso. I want to say, Mr. President, that there is a wise saying that an unexamined life is not worth living. This country has proceeded with all manners of infractions without investigations being conducted on the affairs of some agencies of government and organizations which have tended to cripple this country. The issue of this foreign exchange backlog, which is the center of this motion, is but a small chip in the irregularities going on in the financial sector in Nigeria. Today, the country is grappling with very serious economic challenges. The financial sector in this country has inflicted so much harm, both on business, entrepreneurial activities, and the economy of this country. The CBN, from this motion, thanks to the new governor of the central bank, Mr. Cardoso, who has decided to speak out, and we heard him loud and clear on this very subject, where a backlog of about $7 million as also carried in this motion paper, $2.4 billion were invalid claims. And if he had not done this, nobody knows, maybe the former central bank governor would have paid everything, and the country will continue to sink. I think that this motion is direct on point, and I believe that the CBN's bank examination department has failed this country over the years. I remember in 2018 in the 8th Senate, where illicit charges on customers was brought by Senator Gbenga Shafa to the Senate. Overcharges, all kinds of bills are debited on the accounts of customers. Nobody will ever challenge them. And the bank examination department sometimes will go to the branches of these banks, sit for 1 week or 2 weeks, and give them clean reports and go away. They will be settled. We debated it and we argued it and condemned it, but it has not ended. Today, the bank will lend you money and come with all manners of charges, management fee, notification fee, all manners of things. The regulator, which is the CBN, ought to follow this line the CBN governor has come up with. Banks should be held very, very accountable. I'm happy that last week I told the mover of this motion, who is also the chairman of the Senate Committee on Capital Markets, I told him that so many things have been swept under the carpet in this country. We are aware that sometime between 2007 and 2009, there was a gale of public offers sanctioned by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. A lot of Nigerians were ripped off in that exercise. And after that exercise, all those institutions that came to the Nigerian Stock Exchange to raise capital for business, all of them shut down. The banks collapsed. Citizens of this country lost their money to these banks. They were flourishing banks at that time. Fake promotions were made, and citizens jumped in. They collected their monies, and the banks closed shop. Nobody is investigating them now. Some of the MDs have been jailed. I know that the MD of Bank PHB, Mr. Tuche, is in prison. But that does not solve the problem. What about the investors' money? The citizens put their monies down, and they got nothing in return. So this one, I support an immediate investigation, because that will bring a lot of revelations. I'm happy that some moves are being made around now, so that with the ongoing investigation of the former governor of the CBN, things we didn't know, we are beginning to see them. So this investigation is very timely to help us save this economy. The foreign exchange regime in Nigeria has been at the center of the economic crisis we have. Round tripping. You give somebody $2 million, he will not use it for anything. He will make marginal profit of sometimes 200 naira, 200 naira, 300 naira. Now that the dollar is 1,400 and something naira, you know what it means to hoard $6 billion. The foreign exchange market is not funded. Banks are returning these monies, creating artificial scarcity in the system. And the citizens are choking. The economy is choking. We are all choking. So let's go to the root of this and take very hard actions that will make it a very unfashionable for any bank to engage in this type of sabotage, because this is clear sabotage of the economy. So I support it, and I believe that our colleagues will support it. During the investigation, even if it involves public hearing, I will appear in all the public hearings. We need to hear what is happening to Nigeria's economy. Thank you very much.
Distinguished senators, it is not my decision, it is your decision that will prevail, but I'm a bit concerned about the motion. The content of the motion is very robust. It's very robust. For instance, some of the contentious issues raised here are not things that are within the purview and knowledge of the Senate. Mindful that in a recent widely publicized interview on Arise Television, Cardoso stated that 2.4 billion out of 7 billion foreign exchange backlog owed to banks, aviation, and other entities. Well, I'm sure the word here should have been, well, not valid. And that the CBN had only cleared 2.4 billion out of the valid 4.6.
Yeah.
But you were saying that, so FX backlog leaving about 2.2 billion outstanding. Even the figures here are not correct. If you are saying that he has stated that 2.4 billion out of 7 billion of the backlog owed to banks, aviation, and other entities were not valid, and here you are saying that they have cleared 2.4 billion.
Yes.
Out of 6.4 billion.
Yes, that's correct.
Then you said leaving a balance of 2.2 billion outstanding. That's one. Then this one notes that notable among this intervention scheme is the Anchor Borrower Program, which the current management of the CBN plans to discontinue. It's not what they say. Have they told the Senate? We resolved yesterday that we are going to invite the CBN governor to a closed session with us, arising from the security discussions, and these are issues we can put before him. Deputy Senate President, yes.
This motion should...
Mr. President, I quite agree with you. Let's not... I quite agree with Mr. President. Let's not be speculative in our action. Since we are going to invite...
What is speculative here? There's nothing speculative here, please.
I believe that since we are going to invite him...
Deputy Senate President,
since
we are protected.
Since we are going to invite the CBN governor, let's not put the cart before the horse. We should invite him, let him come and explain. By the time he explains, then we'll be able to take action. We can as well bring another motion or do whatever we feel in line with our rules to deal with the matter. But let's wait for him, let him come, we ask questions, we hear his explanations before we take any action. I say submit.
Information, Chairman, banking.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, I was initially just going to summarize my understanding of this, but let me give this clarification. One, on Arise Television, the governor himself actually said out of the 7 billion outstanding forward transactions, 2.4 billion were found to be invalid. They had cleared 2.4 billion, making 4.8, and what they are contending with now is 2.2 billion. 2.2. So that makes 7. But let me now tell you the implication. What I think this memo is trying to, motion, is trying also to do, is to also bring transparency into our business transaction as a nation.
Yes.
It is important that we actually, since we know 2.4 is invalid, we should try and help the country to investigate who are exactly the perpetrators of these two invalid transactions. That is one.
Yes.
Now, on the Anchor Borrower Scheme as well, and again, beyond the Arise Television, last week Friday, we met the Joint Committee of National Planning, Banking and Finance, and Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions, and appropriations. He also repeated the same issue. So there is no speculation around this.
There's no speculation.
That is one. So let me finish, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, again, on the Anchor Borrower Scheme, he also spoke to the Anchor Borrower Scheme. Beyond the inflation we are contending with today, he also alluded to the fact that 10 trillion was given out as development finance interventions. This Anchor Borrower Scheme forms a bulk of the 10 trillion that we are talking about. So there are no speculations here. Then lastly, now, it will also interest all of us that the current movement in the rate that was witnessed recently, the implication is far-reaching, particularly for those who have borrowed in foreign currency in this country. What it means is that for the movement of rate within the band of 3 days by 500 naira, so imagine somebody who borrowed $1 million. That means in your books today, you owe additional $500 million that you haven't bargained for. So it is important that we investigate all of this and see how best to correct all of this. It is in the state of transparency that we believe the current leadership too is trying, or the CBN is trying to do. And we, as Senate, we must be seen to be playing our own role in investigating all of these matters.
Yes, so this is economic sabotage.
Distinguished colleagues.
It's economic sabotage.
Distinguished colleagues, what is chairman of the committee on banking, finance, and other institutions, financial institutions, what we are saying, in essence, is that you ought to have brought the report to this Senate on your findings after you had the television interview, you invited the CBN governor to your committee sittings, and when you are not satisfied, please, when you are not satisfied with the findings, then you brought the report to the Senate, even in closed session. Automatically, my view is that if we want to go ahead with this motion, then we have to go with another committee, because the committee on banking has failed to do its oversight function. Because if you don't need a motion. You don't need a motion to undertake your oversight function. You don't listen to me. You don't need a motion to undertake your oversight function. So when a motion comes here, it means that the oversight function has been exhausted. It means that the committee has exhausted its oversight function, and it is now left to the Senate to take a decision on how to approach it. But we would have loved to see a report from you saying that in your oversight, all the items listed here, including oversight, including the Anchor Borrowers program that you want to look at from 2015, that you don't need us to empower you to do your work. Please, just listen to what I'm saying. For the leaders, before you give information, leader, for the reason why we have oversight and committees, the reason is for things like this. All the items listed here are items that should be handled by the committee. Now the committee is coming by way of motion to empower them to go and handle what we already empowered them to handle. So my opinion is that the moment you bring a motion, it looks as if you are looking for backing. You already have the backing of the Senate to do your work. Senator Ningi, you understand my point? So, no, I want to know the reason. I want to know the reason why do you want the Senate to look at the motion before you do your work? Is it that the committee on banking has failed?
It's not a committee motion.
So I distinguish Deputy Senate President. If we have to proceed with this motion, we will set up an accord committee of the Senate and put the best heads together to go and look at this, because automatically the committee on banking and even the committee on finance, they have failed to do their work. That's why they brought this.
Mr. President, we have not failed. We have not failed. Don't say we have failed. I don't agree to that.
As the court pleases.
We have not failed.
As the court pleases. Let the investigation be conducted. As the court pleases. If it wants ad hoc committee, good. Yes, ad hoc committee as the court pleases. Information. As the court pleases. Information.
Take your seat, take your seat. Order, take your seat, take your seat. Take your seat, take your seat.
Leader.
As a DSP and as an old senator, I'll go back to my seat. But what I'm telling you that we cannot sweep it under the carpet. This thing will investigate. It's not like we must investigate.
Have they shut it down now?
It's not like anytime we salvage $1 billion, we're helping the economy.
Kasa abu sai ana samun balance. Da ka kyauta ne kawo.
Shi yana ganin Abiru, Osita, Leader, Yayi, Sani, akwai deals da suka yi.
Kasa yanzu ni kira na yi ba shi ma kira ka kira ni da na shoot it down to ni ko idan ban saba kira cike ba sai dauka kamar da hada baki da ni ko san koyi ba Osuta ya le yadda ka shawara ka dana dauka no na man many has been done
The country is dying. So let us we have to be on the side of and I agree with be on the side of Nigerian people, and the only way we can show is telling Nigerians what has happened and what is happening. You know, we have to say that.
This thing has very great implications.
Have you done that? If you, let me take you this weekend. I'll go and let me say, they said you suspended it. Let me suspend it. He's the governor of the central bank. Let him suspend it. But if you come to know wasting our time, people around you see migrants people are building and the country is dying. They make money through deals like this. Deals like this, foreign exchange. One day was come to this in the architect. I go and show you what's here. No wait. Because I take work every morning. And I take some systems. And I think about how the economy is being. And people are having such money to undertake such developments. Somebody is building a house, where he will live. Go and look at it. Oh, this
Take your seat, take your seat.
Distinguished colleagues,
Senator Syria, take your seat.
I want to go with this. Oh, okay. I'm not taking you. I went to the Pam's office and I saw banana there. I said, "Oh, I'm going to take out."
19 and 20. But everyone in each of you, no, if I hate you, I'm going to get to talk. I'm going to get to talk. Deputy governor, drop us.
distinguished colleagues, we have noted that this motion contains a lot of very good leads that could lead to recovery of funds for the current administration and could also lead to sanity in the management of the foreign exchange issues in the country. And I have also been well briefed by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking and other financial institutions that the committee had also done a holistic job on some aspects of this motion, and that they had not failed to look into the issues and therefore did not overlook the issues. So, and they have a report already waiting. So for that, I commend the chairman of the Committee on Banking and other financial institutions. But we have also consulted amongst ourselves, and we have agreed that there is need for brevity. There is need for brevity, and that we would like to have urgent points for the knowledge of the Nigerian public. For instance, the assertions by the CBN governor on the $7 billion, the invalidity of parts of that money, are things that Nigerians would love to know how they will end. And the
Yes.
Senate is very interested.
Yes.
And again, we've also noted the issue of the Anchor Borrowers Program, which actually was started since 2015. And we believe the program was not well managed, and a lot of people are complaining. And the Nigerian public will also want to know more about the Anchor Borrowers Program and the expenses incurred and the kind of results that we achieve, if any. And I think this is important. And then finally, there is also the issue of NAFEM, these continuous rate exchange, rate movements, where you can get a loan today, 3 days later the rate has changed in a level that it makes nonsense out of your initial decision, and then you can never even achieve anything. That cannot help industry to grow. It cannot also grow the economy. It can lead to creation of jobs. So having looked at most of the very beautiful aspects of this motion, personally, majority of my colleagues are of the view that this motion should be withdrawn now and then and rephrased and represented, and then more pungent, so the public will know exactly what we are investigating. And so may I invite distinguished Senator Isunaso to address us.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Isunaso. I represent Imo West. Mr. President, after due consultations about this very popular motion that the senators themselves are very popular, I mean, they want the motion. You can see the mood of the Senate and Nigerian public. I have consulted widely, and we're still going to consult more. So in the interim, we will step down the motion and consult more before presenting the motion, so we can make it very concise and bring out the salient points that we want to address. On this note, Mr. President, I wish to move that we step down, the Senate do step down this motion and represent it at another date. Thank you.
Senator Olamileko.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. I rise to second the motion. Yeah, okay. I rise to second the motion that this motion be withdraw and represent. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, we are in agreement that this motion should be withdrawn, refreshed, reframed, and represented to the Senate to ensure the understanding of Nigerians and bring out the pungent and cogent points that must be investigated and for the benefit of the Nigerian economy. Now, the mover of the motion has applied to withdraw it and represent it in a way that the Senate has suggested, and it has been seconded by Senator Olamileko. Those who are in support that this motion be withdrawn now for represented in the next legislative day, say aye. Aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President. Well, Mr. President, distinguished senators, I guess what is left, just before you do the adjournment yourself, what is left is for me to remind you, sir, that you have an announcement to make regarding the setting up of the Constitution Review Committee. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, the scheduled flight for Senator Barry Mbigi's Thanksgiving service on the 17th of February 2024 will be, first flight will be on Friday, 4:30 p.m. from the private wing of the Moritala International Airport, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, and then on Saturday, 8:30 a.m. from the private wing, the same place, but that one will return the same day. The one of Saturday will return the same day, but the one of Friday will sleep over until the day that the senators, no, don't say so. Senators want to work, right? So they will sleep over until the function is over. So those who have indicated their intentions to travel on Friday, and those who have indicated their intention to travel Saturday should note accordingly the timings of the movements of the flight. Friday, 4:30 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. Both flights will eventually return. I wish all of us journey mercies. Then let me, one second, let me finish. Let me very quickly announce the proposed membership of the Senate Committee on the review of the 1999 Constitution as amended. There is need for us to touch on some aspects of the Constitution to bring them in line with current realities, particularly with the era of artificial intelligence and some of the things that we have observed that need to be put right. So the membership of the Constitutional Amendment Committee of the Senate for 2024 are as follows. Senator Jibrin Barau, Deputy Senate President, Chairman. Senator Bamidele Opeyemi, the Senate Leader, will be the Vice Chairman. Senator Yisa Oyetola will be the Deputy will be the member. He's actually the Deputy Senate Leader. Senator Alain Dume, the Senate Chief Whip, is a member. Senator Nweboyi, member. That is the Deputy Chief Whip. Senator Abba Moro, the Minority Leader of the Senate, is a member. Senator Zita Ungu, Minority Whip, is a member. Senator Oyeomi Olalere, Deputy Minority Leader, is a member. Senator Sani Hanga, the Minority Whip, is a member. Senator Eyinaya Abaribe is a member. I think that represents ABGA. Senator Binus Dauda Yaro Adamawa from the PDP, member. Senator Basi Nyeken Etimakwan, PDP again, member. This one is all political parties, and then all senatorial districts, all zones are taken care of. Senator Patrick Ifeanyi, Anambra State, APC. Senator Abdul Ningi, a chieftain of the Senate, member. Senator Siriaki Dixon, Bayelsa State, member. Senator Agom Jaribe is a member. Senator Chinedu Nwoko, Delta North, member. Senator Adams Oshumole, Edo, member. Senator Danjuma Goje, a member. Senator Osita Izunaso, is a member. Senator Malam Maduri Abdul Hamid from Jigawa East is a member. Senator Ibrahim Khalid, Kaduna North, member. Senator Sani H. Rufai, okay, this is NMPP, so a member. Senator Dan Duse Kasina, member. Senator Yahya Abdullahi Kebi, member. Senator Natasha Akpoti, Kogi Central, member. Senator Adebule Oloranti, Lagos, member. Senator Godia Akwashiki, member. Senator Mohammed S. Musa, that must be Senator Sani Musa, member. Senator Adiola Olamileko, member. Senator Adeniyi Agbomire, Ondo Central, member. Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, Oyo, member. Senator Solomon Lalong, Plateau, member. Senator Aliu Wamago, Sokoto, member. Senator Shuaibu Lao, Taraba, member. Senator Ahmed Lawan, Yobe, member. Senator Shabi Alaji Hao, Samfara, member. Senator Kingibe, FCT, member. Senator Adebule Oloranti, Lagos West. I think this was mentioned before. It was mentioned before. Member. So note, Senator Ipalibo Banigo, Rivers State, member. Let me explain. We are taking one senator per state because we are talking about a constitutional amendment. One senator per state, and then we are also taking one senator representing each geopolitical zone. So, in case you notice two senators from one state, that would mean that one of them represents a zone, while there is one senator from that same state representing that state. So for zonal representation, we have Senator Adamu Alero for Kebbi Central Northwest. We have Senator Ojus Okalo representing Abia, that is Southeast. We have Senator Father Honsi, representing Southwest. We have Senator Bomaye Mohammed, representing Northeast. We have Senator Barinada Mbigi, representing South-South. We have Senator Omar Sadiq Suleiman, representing North Central. The committee will be inaugurated when? On Tuesday, so that they can start functioning immediately. So all the motions and resolutions pertaining to constitutional amendment that have been brought to the Senate since last year will now be channeled straight to that committee. If you have your ideas, I have my ideas, you bring forward so that we can do a good job. And then Deputy Senate President, you also invite speakers of all the state assemblies for interaction with the Senate President before we go into the major issues of presenting the different memos. In view of the time, the Senate President has a meeting with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria by 3 p.m. So the Senate is hereby adjourned to 3 p.m. on 15th day of February 2024 to take the point of order from Senator Ndume.